Good afternoon, my name is Mario Curvelo. I am going to talk about international law based on the multilateral treaty and its CONMEBOL is the Convention of the United Nations on the Law of the Sea. It is considered one of the most important multilateral treaties in history. Since the approval of the United Nations Charter, being qualified as the Constitution of the Oceans. One of the most impacted subjects of the impact was in the 2014, a few months after the appointed Cecilia Kyenge, Minister of the Integration and International Cooperation in Italy. A black woman and foreign, she was a victim of racism for having a custom structure to avoid injustice with immigrants arriving the Mediterranean. They are currently in the old agenda in the Italy is the Salvini law, which is the creation of the security and immigration that was approved in October, which in this the permission for the entry of immigration in special case. Instead of humanitarian protection, and that has to do with the procedure for requesting Italian citizenship was approved time was 24 to 48 months from the date of the request for the within of the answer of the citizenship. The new plan of the Minister of the Interior, Matteo Salvini, is the prohibit the navigation of the Italian waters. And he hopes that the source people in the Mediterranean for security reasons to prohibit them from territorial waters. Salvini intends to invoke the Convention on Navigation Right. According to this, it might be blocked when the ship is carrying out activities of their own forces against the sovereignty, territorial integrity, or political independence of the coastal states. Concluding on the Convention on the Law of the Sea, CONMEBOL, this treaty has the Constitution for the ocean and government all speak of human activities that are currently in force, and in the legal frameworks there is a duty of the states to cooperate on the global, regional and sub-regional levels. Migration, refugees and safety in navigation, these are other legal frameworks that this treaty has.
Good afternoon. I'm going to talk about the voices of people. The event that I choose is the March on Rome. That event, it was a march organized by Benito Mussolini between 27 and 29th of October in 1922. This was a step that changed the parliamentary system to the fascist regime. The origin of this march or of this event Benito Mussolini impulsed that movement since 1999 with the thoughts that impulsed violence around the whole population of Italy. That it was against the democracy, the liberalism, the socialism and communism, and implement a lot of extreme violence around the whole Italy, and it takes the north of Italy. Thanks to that violence, Benito Mussolini risks or gets a place in the parliament, and he was he was in an election until it was a treat for the parliament. So the development of the march was in 22 of October in 1922, and Mussolini ordered to the military people to prepare the manifestation unto the north of Italy. So he proclaimed after the people that our program is simple. We want to rule Italy because he wants to take all the diplomacy system of Italy. And the president that it was at that time was really facta, so he didn't do anything for stops Benito Mussolini because he was scared. And the king of Italy accepted to negotiate with Benito Mussolini, and he asked him to be the first minister, and the fascism dictatorship doesn't start in that moment, but he starts to have those steps and procedures to have that dictatorship later. So the consequences of that march in Rome was Italy before Mussolini was unsatisfied. Italy before Benito Mussolini's fascist was unsatisfied because the end of the First World War created indisposition and discomfort by the population, of course, because of the poor economy. The good of the fascists was the maintenance of the capitalism system and the private property, and the expansion of Africa and the Balkans. But that it was not too good enough because Benito Mussolini took Italy to the Second World War. So Mussolini used the foreign policy to increase popularity, and his participation of the wars increased. So he took Italy at the Second World War. Millions of Italian people died at the fields of Libya, Spain, Albany, and even in the fields of Italy. So it was thanks to the fascism of Benito Mussolini and his ambition. They signed an agreement before of the after the Second World War against Germany and to be with the Alliance. So Italy suffered economical sanctions after that war, and that was a really huge consequence of this event that generates the march on Rome because of the creation of the main consequence that reached the march on Rome was the dictatorship of Benito Mussolini that takes Italy to those unaffrontable events like violation of the human rights and those wars that Italy participated because of that ambition of that Benito Mussolini.
Hello, good night. Now, I am going to talk about the environment in Italy, as it has been for many years and how. They had implemented the 17 objectives that are key to have a sustainable development in each country. But in this case, we are going to talk about one in particular. What are the renewable energies between 2000 and 2016? The number of people with electricity increased from 78 and 87%, and the number without electric users below 1 billion. Yet as the population continues to grow, so will the demand for cheap energy, and our economy rely on fossil fuel is creating a drastic change to our climate. Investing in solar, wind and thermal power, improving energy productivity, and ensuring energy for all is vital if we are to achieve. Por ejemplo, yo creo que expanding infrastructure and upgrading technology to provide clean and more efficient energy in our country will encourage growth and heat the environment. The first, we are the second in the world with the best implementation of solar energy photovoltaica. And the second, we are the seventh worldwide with implementation of wind solar energy. Global rights and domestic environmental and policies. Political economy is in the focus in the economy analysis of process strong decision related to the environment protection. The economic policy of the environment is an important area of development policy in economic theory. Environmental economic policy methods are instruments for the treatment of global environmental problems. The United Nations Summit, United Nations Conference of Environment and Development. In 1972, Stockholm Conference, 1987, publication of the Brundtland Report, 1999, the third milestone was the Earth Summit. 2002, the fourth milestone was the World Summit of Sustainable Development held in Johannesburg. 2012, United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, also known as Rio More 1220. 1968, the theory of common fund resolve and derived from Gary Harding. 1919, theory development by Elinor Ostrom. In 2015, the Kyoto Protocol, precursor of the Paris Agreement. And 2015, the constitutional right of the environment has been radically extended. Okay, for the finish, the conclusion for this chapter of the subject of the environment is very important to highlight how countries can grow in a positive way. Fulfilling the objectives that are prepared in the Organization of the United Nations to have economic, social, and environment grown in this way. Sustainable sustainable development goals that are important and that Italy complies with them, and it shows how this country has no problem, are no poverty, 2 zero hunger, 3 good health and well-being, 4 quality education, 5 gender equality, 6 clean water and sanitation, 7 affordable and clean energy, 8 decent work and economic growth, 9 industry, innovation and infrastructure, 10 reduce inequality, 11 sustainable cities and community, 12 responsible consumption and production. The next climate action lies below water and life on land, peace, justice and strong institution, and final partnership for the goal. These are sustainable development goals.